Whitetail Insights, brought to you by the QDMA, the Quality Deer Management Association, ensuring the future of whitetail deer.
A lot of the time, everyday hunters don't always have the time or the commitment or the tools to build and maintain food plots. But I know there's a lot of ways that if you don't have access to those items that you can improve the deer's habitat, and that's something that I thought you'd have a lot of information on.
Absolutely, and oftentimes we think about food plots as a great place, for deer to eat, like we have here, and deer obviously have made great use of this field during the summer, but oftentimes deer spend more time in the bush, in the wooded areas where we can provide tremendous habitat, both food and cover for deer, and in many cases make a bigger impact on the deer's overall health in those areas and use these food plots to supplement that.
Yeah, and we see that all the time. These plots are very specific for hunting season. They're orientated for times we want to draw those deer to that specific spot. But a lot of times the properties we hunt, there's a lot bigger area there that can be improved than just that 3-acre plot that you want to hunt over.
That's right, and oftentimes we think of the bush as, we have woods there, but from a deer end, it provides a tremendous amount of food if we can get some sunlight into the ground. Yep. So if that whole thing is the same age, it's not nearly as valuable for deer as if we go in with a chainsaw or do a little work, we can cut some of those trees down so that we have very young growth, and some older stuff provide a lot of food, tremendous cover, at a much less expense for the average deer hunter. And from a deer perspective, whether you're out west here or in the east, most deer habitat really consists of 3 components. The food plots like we have here, forested areas, and really old fields that a lot of people overlook. And there's specific things and very easy things that folks can do in any 3 of those different components to really improve the deer habitat where they hunt.
Well, out of those 3 things, we talk a lot about food plots, the benefits and how to do that. But the old fields and the wooded areas, what are some of the key things you can do there to really help increase the deer?
Wooded areas are great because they are providing food and cover for deer. So if a guy can go in and just make sure that you change some of the age of the forest by making sure you have some very young stuff as well as some older stuff. You provide cover in different areas, and those younger forests have so much more food, and it's right at the ground level where deer can take advantage of it. But we can easily go in, let some sunlight get to the ground by hinge cutting or cutting some of those trees, provide that thick flush of vegetation, and provide tremendous food and cover right where deer need it.
When you talk about utilizing these old fields, what do you mean by that?
Fields that used to be agricultural use or something that have gone fallow or starting to grow some vegetation that people often talk about as weeds are extremely important for deer. And basically, stuff, it could be an old food plot, it can be an old ag field that you just let to grow up a little bit. They can provide food and cover, and in many cases, they provide a lot of food at no expense to the landowner or the hunter.
So what about old pasture where they may not be operating with cattle anymore? Are you including that in your old field?
Absolutely, and that's many of the perfect examples of it because it's something that you're not using, but it's not gone back to bush yet, so it's not wooded. But so you get different plants grow there that the deer will want to eat. It provides good cover, and in many cases, it's extremely easy for people to do that type of habitat component. But most people don't realize the value of it.
That's a lot of great information, and if you don't own the land that you're hunting on, if you're just hunting on land that you have permission on, talk to that landowner and have some communication with them, because a lot of these things that Kip suggested, they're very low impact as far as that land value to the landowner who might be running cattle or agriculture. But it's going to have a big impact on the deer in the area and their overall health. And that deer's overall health, that's our goal, right?
Absolutely.
This Whitetail Insight is brought to you by the Quality Deer Management Association. Become a member and ensure the future of whitetail deer.